Sorry, guys. We had the privilege of having Detroit Lions down there and talked to our team a little bit. Jim was awesome and brought his whole staff up, so that was fun. You know, it was a strange game. I give our guys some credit, but I thought it was a sloppy game. When there's this many free throws, both teams shoot a lot of them. I don't know if it ever looked pretty. I thought we did some good things. I thought we made some poor decisions. We didn't turn it over as much, which is a plus for us, but we still have our moments when, you know, it's a bad shot or it's, I don't know. I should feel better about it than I do, but then again, maybe I shouldn't because we got a big game on Saturday with a lot on the line. I am pleased that, you know, Miles played pretty well. He didn't rebound as well. He's upset about that and probably should be. And, you know, we didn't think that we'd guarded their ball screens as well as we should, so you know, our bigs get a little blame for that. I thought Langford played better, and, you know, I was scared to death because I didn't know how we'd adjust, especially defensively without Aaron in there as our leader, as a guy that did some things. And we got hurt some early, a lot of foolish turnovers early, and then we settled down and played good against a team who's been playing good. Miles has done Tim has done a great job there. You know, I know exactly what he's going through. He's been good enough. He's won some big games, and yet he, too, like us, is having trouble being consistent. And, you know, I don't know how that game got so out of hand. It was a close game. They were playing well, and I think 3 threes in a row, and all of a sudden it was out of hand. So I felt fortunate to win it. I thought we played good enough at times, and yet I like what he's done with his team. He's got some good young players, and that's going to be a very, very good team in the hopefully this future, but in the near future. So questions, I'll take them.
Tom, obviously without Aaron, the rotation changes. There more. One of the things I saw, you had more of Tom and Cassius Winston together maybe than you have in a while, like 9 minutes together, which seemed to work for quite a bit. What do you like when those two are on the floor? Does that work as well as it looked to, or?
Well, it depends on the size of the guards, and it depends on how many guys we got to guard, because we still struggle to guard on some of those cases. And that is still a little frustrating. I think, you know, there's some positives to it, but some of the non-switches and some of the attention to the scouting report on whether a guy goes right or left. You know, our freshmen they've been through a lot this year. Sometimes I worry that they're a little worn out and maybe not as focused as they need to be, but Cassius did some real good things at times, and you know, there's no question he's really good at assists and doing that, and if I can switch him up defensively once in a while, I think it could work some. But I was a little disappointed we didn't get McQuaid going a little bit. He got those 2 fouls early. He's been playing pretty well. Aaron Harris was a little sloppy early, and I was worried because I think he's been waiting for 3.5 years to start, and I was worried that he might try to overdo it a little bit. But he settled down too, and then our 3 freshmen all played pretty well. So I don't know if it worked. It might have worked, but it's going to depend on who we're playing and what we're playing. That's a case for a lot of what we do. You know, certain matchups are just not going to be good for us.
Coach, the continuing evolution of Josh Langford, and especially with Harris going down, seemed like he was clicking tonight. He showed more initiative. He was in more of a rhythm, especially attacking on offense. Can you speak to that and where he still needs to go in terms of his overall game?
Well, Josh definitely took a giant step. Last couple of days he had been sick early in the week, missed summer practice, throwing up and everything. He was pretty sick, and then bounced back and had a really good practice yesterday. And you know, I thought he had a pretty good day today. With the problem is still when we have those freshmen in there, especially those guards, we sometimes really struggle defensively, and that's where they've both got to improve if we're going to become a real good team yet. You know, a team like Wisconsin's going to run their stuff. They're going to have bigger guards. And, you know, so we're going to have our work cut out for us in that respect. And we're just going to need those freshmen to become sophomores defensively more than offensively. Offensively, I'd agree with everything you said. Defensively, I think we still have some work to do.
That stretch in the end of maybe the last 5 minutes of the first half, you had all four of those guys out there. What were they doing right there that you want to see maybe more?
Well, I thought we were running pretty good. I thought we rebounded pretty good in that stretch, and so when you rebound pretty good, you can get your running game going. We hit 3 threes, I believe, in that stretch, including that last one, which was, lucky, but to say the least. But it did get out of. That's what I told Tim. It got out of hand kind of quick in that stretch, and I've been on the other side of that a couple times this year, but I felt we were fortunate to be up. I didn't think we played as well as being up 19 at that stretch or whatever we were up.
This is only the second time that all four freshmen played over 20 minutes in a game, and now part of that is no foul trouble. But that and they had 70% of your shot attempts tonight. Is this kind of, with Aaron out, losing a senior, is this time for them to kind of take ownership of what actually happens?
Yeah, I think so. We when McQuaid was out with foul trouble right away, we don't have many people left. We only have, I think, 8 actual recruited scholarship guys here. So, I think so. Kenny Goins got a little foul trouble early, too, along with McQuaid. So that left those 4 freshmen in there quite a bit. And I do think they've responded. I just think they've got to learn how to play both ends of the court. And the last 2 games, we're fouling too much. And we got to do a better job of that. And so are the freshmen going to take over? Nick and Miles have been, fairly consistent. I thought Miles played good. As I told him, I didn't think he played great. He gets 1 rebound in the second half, and he was, like I said, disappointed about that. And didn't shoot as well from the free throw line as he's been shooting. But still need him to be more aggressive. I thought Nick missed some good shots early. And I just felt like, Josh hit a couple of shots, but, 5 of 12. He's got some work to do yet. But definitely look more aggressive. They look more comfortable. That part of it was great.
When you see them all kind of flying around like that at the end of the first half, is there any kind of special sauce to that?
Yeah, I told him that I'd like to see him flying around like that on the other end. Because on the other end, they're kind of standing around. Hey, you know what? Cassius can pass the ball as good as anybody. I told you that at the beginning, middle, and end. And, you know what I think of Miles and Nick. And Josh is coming. He's coming. It's taken longer. He's a unique kid, but he's getting more comfortable and more confident, and he's going to have to keep doing that because he can really guard, too. And he started, he went in there and, got a couple rebounds. He got as many as Miles did. He got, I think, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds early. I think he's going to be able to do a better job of that. But, we're going to have our work cut out. I didn't think Nebraska played as well as I've seen him being playing. And I told him that after, I think maybe some of it was us, but I think some of it was them. So I don't want to be fooled by everything. But I did think we did some good things and at times looked good. I just thought it was a sloppy game. And yet it wasn't a major turnover game for either team. It just kind of, I don't know, the ball was bouncing everywhere to me.
Tom, I got a question about one of your seniors. You started Alvin Ellis today. Is this an experiment you think you stick with, and how do you think he responded with the start instead of coming off the bench?
Well, I didn't like the way he responded at the beginning. He turned it over, I think, 3 times in the first couple minutes, which I told him before the game. I said the first shot might go into the tube. I said, don't be cool and casual because I know you're excited. You better be excited. Waited a long time to start. And but I still think he was solid. He didn't shoot it as well. Didn't, shot pretty well from the line. Did rebound the ball pretty well. Defended better than decent. But I think he can, the turnovers, trying to feed Nick the way he was doing it wasn't good. But I thought after the first 3 turnovers, then he played pretty well, And now if I can get McQuaid going a little bit and keep him out of foul trouble, I think we could make some hay here. McQuaid did have 5 rebounds, And like I said, other than Josh and Elvin, that was where 6 of our turnovers came. So, yeah, I don't think it'll be an experiment. I mean, I plan on starting Elvin. I'm not gonna, I don't want to change the lineup for the 58th time this year. So I'll just kind of keep it like it is.
Tom, in that run in the first half, Miles at 9 points in 2 minutes. I'm sure he can't keep that pace up forever, but is that the kind of aggressive?
Why not?
Yeah, right. But is that what you've been talking to him about, to be more selfish?
Yeah, he drove. He drove in the second half. He got a 3-point play. He drove and got fouled the first half. He has not been doing that. I think he can do that a lot more. Looking for his threes. I thought he posted up pretty well, and my opinion, got fouled once or twice, but that's mine. But the reason I say that is because we're really trying to get him to post up and go to the basket. And so I thought he's starting to bring more parts to his game. The driving is really critical. But I think, I don't know if we start playing to score the second half, but we really did a poor job on those ball screens. And, he was one of the guys that didn't do them as well. And we've been doing a pretty good job in practice, and him and Nick really struggled with staying up on those. And so it caused some problems where they got some driving layups. But that's fixable. Hopefully we can fix it in the next 2 days.
How do you feel, I guess, coming out of this about just the substitution pattern, the minutes that you gave guys? I mean, is it still going to be kind of an experiment without Aaron for the next 3?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you play better your first game without a guy because everybody gets up, and sometimes you play worse your first game without a guy. And how do I feel? Listen, I'm not going to feel good till the end because it's just going to be one of those years. It's not bad. It's just there's nothing to ever feel comfortable with this team right now. But I don't think I'm experimenting anymore. I think I'm just trying my hardest to keep guys out of foul trouble, especially those 2 bigs. And even Nick, second half, first half, we wanted to put him back in, and just such a paranoia about that right now for me. And I feel comfortable. Forget it. That ain't happening this year. But feel good about how we played and that we took some steps forward, and that the freshmen are, becoming a little better. And yet we got enough to work on next 2 days in those ball screen defenses because I thought we were poor in those. And we got to do a better job of that.
Coach, you mentioned Ellis. It'll be a bittersweet moment on Sunday, his last game here. And can you just talk about what kind of impact he's had on this young team as the senior leader and how you feel?
Well, there's no question that Alvin Ellis has had his best year as a Spartan. And what a better time than his senior year. Coming off the bench, he was averaging 20 minutes a game, and he was really starting to play his best basketball. Now they'll be more expected, a different rank, different responsibilities. And when you have, no other, Tom and him are it for upperclassmen. Even McQuaid and Goins, as we all know, were hurt all summer, so they're almost freshmen again, too. So that's a lot of responsibility and still trying to play well. And yet that's what I'm throwing at him. No choice. So it will be bittersweet. I think he hung in there. Hey, he could have transferred 2 years ago. And he hung in there and I think put a lot more into basketball this last year and a half. And I think basketball has given something back to him. And how does it get any better than that? That's kind of what life's all about. And Alvin Ellis now hopefully will help prepare him for the rest of his life because as he put more time in, he became a better player and a very valuable member of his team now. And he's definitely one of the 6 or 7 guys the whole season, and now he's going to be one of the top 4 guys. And I'm anxious to see him grow from that. Thanks, guys.